John Kennedy, I have to say, you're a man with a great future because you called this one right.
That's the first time. No, I think Donal has that.
Sure, you only need to win once.
You have to get lucky sometimes, I suppose.
You said it was Kerry were going to start strong. You said Kerry would have to put as much experience as they had on the field, and you felt that playing at home would make them dig a little bit deeper. They done all that.
They did. Donal, I thought was going to be their strongest team to date because, points are vital to consolidate Division 1 status. I felt they were going to be good enough to beat Armagh, but I don't think any of us thought to be the kind of game it turned out to be fair. But look, at the end of the day, we got the 2 points. I think they're a vital 2 points, considering the way the results panned out over the weekend, because, you're close to getting into the final, but you're close to relegation, so it's going to be a real dogfight. But, Kerry did what they had to do. Frustrating game, huge crowd, great atmosphere, but, people anticipated, kind of a shootout, with some great stars on both sides, particularly in the forwards. Armagh had different ideas. They came and they just didn't want to attack really. Got a lot of bodies back. I suppose it's a learning curve. How do we get around it? David Clifford double and triple marked at times.
Would you blame a team travelling away from home to play Kerry? I mean, are they going to set up in a shootout mode? I mean, surely they're going to stay back, defend, keep it tight for as long as they can, and that was the Armagh plan. I mean, it
was the plan, but I think, Donal, they have a lot of potential, this Armagh team. I rate them. I think they're good. They have a lot of physicality, a lot of good ball players. They have some great forwards. Stephen Campbell, Ryan O'Neill, Grogan, who wasn't on. These guys, they're all Marnan. They're all able to score from distance. They have great pace, great agility. Like they're a very good side. I feel that the Ulster Championship could be their goal this year. Coming down and not playing, is one thing, but they were so close. That's the setup they had. But for us, we got over the line. I think a few very positive things. I thought Jason Foley was outstanding. He's really turning out to be a top class full back. Stephen O'Cumbar coming in wing back. We've been saying it, Liam and myself, for a bit. He has...
Liam's been saying it all the time.
Yeah, he has, in fairness. He has gears, look.
Everyone's laughing at me.
He's been unfortunate with injuries for the last couple of years. Didn't get that game time, but now he is. It's a very impressive performance. Our midfield, who's been much maligned, I suppose, over the last few weeks, they did come up. They improved. And I think the forwards then, when things weren't happening, Donal Sullivan and Tony Brosnan coming off the bench and getting 2 vital scores. It shows that we have that strength and depth. Look, when others are not performing, these guys, and I was right for Tony, because, as Liam said afterwards, he's a scoring forward. Ambrose alluded to it, close to goals, and, he shot on sight. That was a great score. And Donal Sullivan could have gone for a goal maybe, but it turned out to be the winning point in the end. Fisted over the bar. So all in all, look, 2 very valuable points. I think they'll be happy. Maybe not with the game as a spectacle, maybe not with the performance, but the result.
The result is everything, Liam, to be honest with you. I mean, those 2 points it gives you 4 points. It's gas when you look at the table. We're technically third. Had you lost, you'd be saying we're close to relegation. 4 rounds played, and it's quite unusual. All teams could still be relegated, and all teams could possibly still make a final. That will make the next game and the next game even more difficult and harder. But Kerry will need to continue winning at home.
They will, yeah. Like we said at the start of the league, win our home games and you'll be safe. And the funny thing, the way the league has gone, is if we win next week above in Tyrone, you could end up in a league final very quick, Donal, because
Jack doesn't want to be in league final.
Jack does well, but I'd say he'd take it if it was there, because the more competitive games we get through the Munster, heading into the Munster campaign, the better for us. And yes, look, that was a game Saturday night. It wasn't. It was a hard watch, but Kerry didn't mind that. The management didn't mind that, because coming down, I'd say, in the bus after the Mayo game, there was a lot of thinking going on, and there was a lot of heart-to-heart, I'd say, training during the week, and Kerry just needed to win that game. And you know what? It was a game, and I know the supporters would love to see lovely football and everything, but Armagh set up, try to make it hard for us. And to me, looking at the game, was the difference was with the Mayo game was with David Clifford and Shawnee Shea. The presence that they brought, and like David was attracting 3 to 4 players every time he got the ball, so he was creating the opportunities for the rest of the Kerry boys, which we didn't have above in Mayo. there was a lot of one-on-ones in Mayo, and they were getting bodies around us, and we just didn't physically have the strength. But with David and with Shawnee in there, the whole balance of the team is a lot better. I thought Adrian Spillane as well, around the middle of the field, half-back line, the work rate, so much so he ran himself into the ground. He had to come off. Darren Minan had one of his better games again, same thing. And that's reflecting back to last year, where we had a very workman-like performances from everyone around the team. We didn't look for all-star performances, but solid performances, and I think a lot of the Kerry boys had that over the weekend. Delighted as well for Barry Dan. He has got enough of criticism with the last couple of weeks. No fault of his own. It's just he's been thrown in the deep end, and when you look back at a lot of the games and you look back at the weekend, he's one of the guys that's kind of stepping up a small bit. He's trying, he's doing a lot of stuff, in a position that we are struggling at, and I think Jack has faith in him. There's a reason why he's there. We can be here looking at it. We're already looking at him once every couple of weeks. So things a bit better now after the Mayo game after Saturday night.
Mm-hmm. John Kennedy, Jack said we got a good reaction on Tuesday night at training. This is, of course, after the Mayo game, and we were glad to get a good reaction. They're proud lads. They want us to put their best foot forward, and said before the game in the dressing room that it was up to them, and I thought they were excellent, particularly in the second half, because Armagh went 2 up and they're a tough nut to crack. They're very fit, very physical, and it took great resolve from our guys to get over the line. I doubt any Kerry person ever said we wouldn't have fight for the battle, but we really needed to go deep the last night, and even when they went too clear in a game that was quite tight, 2 points seemed like a big lead.
We thought they closed down the way the game was going. If they went up 2 or 3 points, we said we won't get.
How important were those changes? I mean, Jack put on guys who the week before people were saying please take them off, but he went to the pocket, he looked in and he says off you go boys. He knew they had it in him.
He did. I think particularly, like Liam said, David and Shawnee coming in, they took a lot of the pressure off the lads above. They're the marquee players. They're going to take the attention of the defence and maybe leave options open for others. But after the Mayo game, those guys coming down the bus, I can only imagine what it's like. We've all been in that position where you haven't played well, you have been hockeyed, and poor performance, big Kerry crowd up there, and you can't wait really for the following week or the following match. And they were actually after putting themselves under pressure, because this was a must-win game, as Liam said there. You're playing at home, you had to beat Armagh, or else you could be in relegation trouble. You didn't want to be going to Terrace looking for 2 points to come out of the relegation battle. So they did dig deep, and I thought that, like Liam said there, the performances, the work rate, and typified by Darren Minan there, look, Adrian Spillane, the selfless running off the ball, the covering back. Tig Morley was back to his best again. Hadn't a good outing in Mayo, but like he was the real Tig Morley the last night. He was aggressive, he was attacking, and he was in control really. And Cumbar was covering back as well. He was giving them the platform to do that. I think our structure was good, and it's while we didn't, it wasn't marquee football. We had to grind out a result, and we did.
Liam, Armagh going back up the road, I mean, they probably thought, guys, Mayo had a run at Kerry last week. Maybe we should have done it.
Yeah, and it's something that you'll be thinking about after the game, and the guys that John named out there earlier, the Ryan O'Neills and these guys, you'll be kind of saying, why don't they? I saw them last year above an Armagh, and they played a lot more football last year. Like, they came down to stop us from playing and hoping maybe to catch us on a break, then to get a goal and stuff like that. But I think they're better than that. They have way better footballers. I was amazed that they just sat back. Like, you look at the stats, like they had actually 68% shooting conversion. We had 57. They have the players to do it. Only this defensive structure. Well, whether they're building it for the championship and they're looking down along the line. But I think
suppose they're looking at it from a perspective. They're playing in Ulster, not in Munster, not in Leinster, and you probably need a defensive structure up there.
Yeah, but the only thing about it is you have to be looking if you want to get to Croke Park as well. I don't think a defensive structure like that can a team keep it going for 70 minutes in an All-Ireland quarter-final or semi-final or even a final. But
Speak to us about your other friend that you haven't mentioned yet. He was out around midfield for most of the night. I thought he played very well. Your number one.
Oh, my goalkeeper. Yeah. He was like a pantomime villain, really. The crowd up on the stand every time he got the ball. But to me, they're trying to reinvent the game of football a small bit. And I think if they went back and played football, they'd probably be a better team. But I might eat my words come this summer.
Is it easier for the likes of him to play that role when you kind of drop back yourself to defend? I mean, he was literally a loud walk into midfield. I mean, at one stage there was nobody marking.
Them was thinking he's a better footballer than their centre back and full back because they were behind him. So
he seemed comfortable on the ball.
Well, he's an outside player. I think he is an outside player, very comfortable kicker as well, because you could see the way he was kicking the frees and stuff like that. But look, I don't think it's a place for a goalkeeper, because you will be caught.
Still on that.
And there was times, you could see when we turned over the ball, even the crowd were getting up, maybe once or twice if we could kick the ball a bit longer. But and the one thing with kicking the ball, I think if we had a good game against Mayo the weekend before, our confidence was a bit up. Our confidence was maybe a bit shattered going into this game, and we didn't want to give away the ball too much. We were minding it. There was opportunities that we could have maybe hit the full forward line with a couple of quick ones, but we decided to give that extra pass instead. But that's coming down to maybe our lack of confidence, and we didn't want to give away the ball. And I think as time goes on, we'll get better at that, because there was times when David was looking for the ball inside in one-on-one, and if we kick the ball in high or low to David, 99 times out of 100 he'll catch it, but the guy outside was kind of hesitant at kicking it. But I do think that's a backlash from the Mayo game. But I think that's what Kerry will be working on, that our transition from defence up to the forwards will improve as time goes on.
Jeez, he's all talk tonight, isn't he, John?
Right, tonight.
We might as well go home. Lads, Kerry dug out a win. That is the most pleasing aspect of what was a very poor game to watch. That's John in Killarney. Great to see Jack keep faith with Tony Brosnan and Donal Sullivan, and both coming up trumps when they needed. In years gone by, they would not get another chance. Maybe there's an element of truth to that, maybe. Donal, great show last week, especially with the Kerry J. Stewarts. They do such a great job, and it was nice to see so many of them on Saturday in Austin Stack Park. Yeah,
we're signing autographs and everything. There was a big gang around them.
Pictures and everything. Awful game to watch, lads. Why are we back playing Tyrone style football, and why was there no long kicking by Kerry? I think that's it's a criticism that's levelled, but it's a bit unfair. I mean, who's going to kick a ball into 14 Armagh fellas who are covering 13? You know, unless you're really good at landing a ball in, there's no space. So it goes back to a situation where Armagh set themselves up not to allow us kick.
Yeah. And I think that, just like I said, the weekend before kind of stopped us being that little bit adventurous, because we were a bit shocked. So I think as time goes on, we will be hitting one or two of them long balls in against defences like that.
Donal, listening to the show from County Armagh, we had a great time in Tralee, especially in the Greyhound Bar just around the corner. My God, fair play to you. John, away from the match, wasn't there an amazing amount of Armagh people?
Yeah, super, huge crowd down. Yeah. We had it during the week.
Great supporters, yeah.
Great supporters, in fairness, and great banter, and a big Kerry crowd came out on it, because this was a big game and great atmosphere. But there's something about the night games, I think, in fairness, wherever they are, it just brings an atmosphere as a different type to a Sunday game at 2 or 3 o'clock. But it's a pity that the game didn't match the crowd, really. If it had been that little bit better, it would have been electric, I think. It killed the momentum of the crowd, really, the way it played. But look, just going back to what Liam said there, or your listener, it's very easy kick ball in to man that's triple marked, but you're losing possession. It's a patience game, and it doesn't look good over and back across the field, but it's for that split second, if the opposition lose their concentration, you're in for the score, and we play the patience game very, very well.
Liam, 12 scores to win a league game. It's obviously at the lower end of entertainment, but I mean the game itself, for some people watching it, they would have said it was a good game. They would have said it was an interesting game. It was a game of chess. You held the ball for as long as you can until you got your scoring opportunity. And if you look at the scoring conversions, you were on about 66 and 57. They're fairly high, aren't they?
Well, both sets were high. Like we were 57% and they were 68%. They had 16 shots and 11 scores. We had 21 shots and 12 scores. No, but it was just like that. I don't think it's Kerry's fault. It's the way Armagh came out and set up that they put a zone defence, and it's easy to say it was Kieran Donaghy's fault, being the basketball side of it. But they set up a defence, and we were watching them in the first half. They were just leaving Kerry have the ball. Yeah,
absolutely. Now afterwards, we caught up with Kieran McGeeney, and we found out what his thoughts were on the game.
Kerry, congratulations. Obviously, it's a game you'll feel that you should have got something out of.
Yeah, look, we're hugely disappointed. It's definitely a match that we should have got something out of. Definitely a point out of that game, the way it was going, nipping and tucking the whole way. And we knew that coming down the road yesterday. But look, there's loads of positives come from it. But probably just a couple of wee errors there in the final 4 or 5 minutes that potentially got them across the line.
Wee bit of composure, was it? I mean, or was it just getting late, the nerves? Something like that.
You say composure, like I think our composure has got really good over the last 18 months. We're probably a bit of ill discipline from our own point of view in defence, when we no call to engage with anybody, and then probably a bit of inconsistency from the referee as well, probably helped them to get momentum in the final stages. But look, they're all things out of your control, and we just got to lick our wounds and get ready for another big week.
Because defensively you were so well set up for the game. I mean, the game plan worked like a dream. I thought,
we worked hard as a unit. Something that we pride ourselves in. We have to stay concentrated and engaged for the full 70 plus minutes, and we probably lapped a wee bit of concentration toward the end, and that cost us.
Yeah, there you go, John. Kieran McGeady saying that, we lapse a bit of concentration towards the end, and that kind of cost us. He readily admitting that, this was our plan. Our plan was to come down, frustrate Kerry, defend as deep as we can, catch them on the counter. And the plan nearly worked, John.
It nearly worked, yeah. I mean, when they went 2 points up in a tight game like that, it didn't look good for Kerry. But I think we the south we brought on, that patience we had. We didn't give the ball away, we held it well, and when the opportunity came, shot selection was good, and we took the scores. And I think that they did make the few mistakes, they did lapse, but it still baffles me that you have guys like Stephen Campbell and Rian O'Neill and Brosnan and up front, and you don't give them the ball. They're some of the best forwards in the game. Campbell in full flight, he kicked a super point with his left leg.
He was playing wing back for most of it.
Rian O'Neill is another top class forward. But look, that's the game plan they had. Maybe, like Liam said, they might be looking forward to Ulster, because it's going to be a battle in every game, and have the system. You just can't change it overnight. But I think if they're going to kick on, they got to semi-final last year. If they're going to kick on, they need to,
more football wanted.
They need to express themselves, and they need to move that ball. There's a balance, and I think the last night it was on the negative side. I think you need to get the balance right if you're going to be contesting in an All-Ireland semi-final and final.
Well, we'll see. There's a long season there yet, even though it's catching up on them. We'll take a break, and after the break, I caught up with Hugh Duggan. Any idea who Hugh Duggan is?
Former referee.
Oh my God, John Kennedy.
He put John off a couple of times, I suppose.
Never.
Well, he put Paddy O'Shea off in the 1979 final and cost him his All-Star. So he talks about that to me, and he also talks about Wishy Fogarty. We'll talk to him after the break. Now we're discussing Kerry and Armagh, and plenty of comments coming in. Donal, Kerry and Armagh set up the same way. They had a sweeper in front of David Clifford, and we had a sweeper in front of Rian O'Neill. Tadhg Morley was the only one that wanted to take on the Armagh defensive line, and we got 2 scores from line breaks that he made. Tadhg Morley back to his best, I suppose, in fairness. The Mayo game, obviously, it was a different tactic. The boys came at him the whole lot. Hi, Donal. Why didn't the county board have a double header on Saturday night? It would not happen in Cork, Dublin or Galway, says Pat. It's a question. It's out there. The reason, Pat, I would imagine, and I spoke to Harry J about it, is that when you have a double header in Austin Park, there's only 4 dressing rooms, and basically the way that things are gone these days, each team take 2 dressing rooms each now, because you have your dressing room for your team, and you have your dressing room for your backup system, and you have your dressing room for your physio, and they take up 2, and you need the dressing rooms cleared and emptied and the whole lot before the next game starts. So I'd imagine there'd be nearly a gap of an hour and a half between games. So that's the modern answer, I'd imagine. Can't see how John Kennedy said our midfield improved. Oh my God, John Kennedy. It used to be Liam Brosnan used to get these ones. That's Dennis in Killarney. We'll go back to that, Dennis. We'll give another bill to that one now in a second for you. Donal, I was at the game last night. It was a good win, but it was diabolical stuff to watch. And I think that's kind of a fairly big team of some of the comments coming through. All defence, too much lateral passing. Kerry were so defensive, just as defensive actually as Armagh. It's a sad day for football if this is the game the way is going, says Mossy. Hi Donal, it's always great to win a hard, tight, tough game like that. It wasn't great to watch, but the main thing is that they won and there was no injuries, and begrudging congratulations to your Man United. Charles, fair play to you, Charles. I knew you would be the only Liverpool fan around me this evening that had stand up and congratulate Man United. Well done. We're not finished yet, Charles, but we're going to win a couple more things as well, I think. Hi Donal, is there something happening in Sligo Sligo, with Summerhill College defeating the same from Killarney in the All-Ireland Colleges semi-final, and that's from Joe Langtree in Tralee. That was a big surprise, Liam.
A bit of an upset, yeah. No, I don't. Many people were expecting that.
I suppose when it comes down to, and we'll talk about maybe the same in the thing, it's the age group as well, isn't it? I mean, they're not senior players as such. I mean, the one bad day things can happen, but it's also the sort of competition that you can run into a very, very good team somewhere as well, and maybe at times we think, being Kerry people, that area they're Sligo.
Divine right it, like, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think they ran into one there. But listen, congratulations to the same. They've done very well all through the year in All-Ireland semi-final, and I'm sure plenty of those footballers will come out the other side of it as well.